Tuesday, October 26, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I was sent a story from one of the viewers the other day through the Facebook page. I have a Facebook page and you can send messages there. And it was from RT, and I hadn't seen the story, and I haven't seen it come out in other precious metals or gold or silver channels, people that cover gold and silver. But it looks like the Russian central bank has resumed its gold purchasing. After a 15-month hiatus, it had stopped, announced that it was ceasing its gold purchases April 2020. But according to the story, now they've started again. Before I look at the article, I just want to talk a little bit about the countries that have been buying a lot of gold. And by that, I don't mean the public in those countries. I mean the state, so to speak, through their central banks. Well, we know that China has been doing it for years. There's a lot of debate as to how much gold they really have. Officially, they don't have that much gold. I think it's about just under 2,000 tons, 1,948. But some people speculate more than 20,000 metric tons, which would be 2.5 times, for example, what the U.S. official holdings are supposed to be, right, at Fort Knox. And recently we've seen some other countries, especially Brazil came as a surprise earlier this year. They've kind of doubled their gold reserves just this year. And there was a good article also from Bullion Star about how the Indian government has picked up its gold purchases, especially after 2018, and that it was giving Russia and China a run for their money. Central banks have lost a lot of credibility in the last 20 years, especially Western central banks. Yes, they're going to try to bring in CBDCs, but if they want to stay in business, they're going to have to to give their major number 1 and 2 enemies someplace in the deal, and that's gold and silver. Of course, ideally, it's not about a monetary system. Ideally, for me, is the doing away of central banks, because it is one of the planks of the Communist Manifesto. And I just find it amazing that not more people know about this, even people on Wall Street, mainstream economists, that we have a plank of the Communist Manifesto running our monetary and credit system. Yes, you can check it out. I'll put a link to the planks of the Communist Manifesto, and it says the centralization of money and credit. Yes, and that's communism. And we've had it for 300 years. Central banking, at least here in the UK. The US did away with central banking from 1837 to 1913, and it did very well, even without a central bank. But back to this article. I think Russia, China, and other countries, especially emerging market countries, not the countries like in the West, they're very aware of the importance of gold in international trade. And they know the history, of course. Our leaders here in the West, our central bankers, our economists, politicians, don't have a clue. They think that gold is finished. But not people in China, Russia, and other places. So it says Russia continues to add gold to the country's huge forex reserves, and this is from 21st of October 2021. It's on RT.com. So let's quickly go through this article. It's not a long article. It says the holdings of monetary gold in Russia's foreign exchange reserves increased by 0.14% last month, amounting to 73.9 million ounces or 2,298.457 tons as of October 1st, the Central Bank of Russia reports. Statistics show that the Russian Central Bank added 3.1 tons of gold in September. This comes as the bank replenished its reserves by 100,000 troy ounces or 3.1 tons in July. For the first time since April 2020, the share of monetary gold in Russia's foreign exchange reserves accounted for 20.95% as of last month. Russia's international reserves include highly liquid foreign assets like stocks of monetary gold, foreign currencies, and special drawing rights assets, which are at the disposal of the Central Bank of Russia and the government. The holdings exceeded the target level of 500 billion set by the regulator in June 2019 and have remained above that threshold ever since. In 2020, Russia's reserves surged by over 40 billion despite the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the economy, which forced the government to increase spending to support businesses and households. Russia holds the world's fifth largest foreign currency reserves, worth over $618 billion as of September 1st. Just before we look at the markets, I just wanted to quickly talk about what Russia really knows about gold, what I think they know. And I think they've known it for a long time, that the bullion banks are up to here in short positions. They're highly leveraged. They've leased the West's gold reserves many times over. And why do I say that? Well, because I've been following GATA for almost 20 years. And in 2005, August 2005, they had a conference called Gold Rush 2021 in Dawson City, Yukon, Canada. And this is the list of people they had there. They had John Brimlow, Jeffrey Dahl, John Embry, Professor Fekete, Anto Fekete, Al Field, Catherine Austin Fitz, Adam Fleming of the Fleming family, the Fleming merchant banks from London, Peter George, Reginald Howe, Robert Landis, Ferdinand Lips, who wrote Gold Wars, a book that I've recommended. They had J.K. Mortensen, Bill Murphy, of course, Chris Powell, Hugo Salinas Price, J.P. Schumacher, and they had James Sturck there as well. But more importantly, they had a Russian individual, an advisor, economic advisor to Vladimir Putin called Andrei Bykov. And you can see here from this article in Kitco. This is what the article says about Bykov. He says that he manages some kind of company in Switzerland, and the Financial Times characterizes him as a Russian media mogul. Bykov calls himself President Putin's economic advisor. He claims that NDF originated during the U.S.-Russia negotiations on plutonium disposition in the fall of 1999, and even played a crucial role in negotiating U.S.-Russian plutonium disposition agreement. Andrei was most gracious and said the following to me at the end of the conference. This is Bill Murphy, of course, who's been trying to expose the gold rigging scheme for over 20 years. So Bykov said, this is the finest conference I've ever attended. So when you look at Russian gold reserves, it's interesting that they start going up just around 2007, about a year and a half after this conference. I don't think it's coincidence. So the Russians know the situation about gold and the bullion banks, and they've been accumulating gold ever since. They've gone from below 500 metric tons to almost 2,500 metric tons, as we know today, and I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon. So with that, let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8:25 a.m. London time. We've got spot gold at 1802. It's down just over $5. Range has been 1808 to 1801.60. So we're right near the lows here. Yes, the bullion banks, as I said, they're still controlling the market, the paper market. But as we've seen in the past with other commodities, or we're seeing right now, the more you try to suppress the price or put caps on prices, the bigger the shortages and the eventual rise in the price of those commodities will be. Look at here in the UK, they've tried to cap electricity prices and it's going through the roof now. We've got potential shortages coming this winter. Gold and silver are different, of course, because they're money. Gold is not consumed. So it's all going to depend on when there's a lot of fear about the fiat currencies. And then we will see the huge run up in the price of gold. And the Russians know that. And I would say the Chinese know that too. They probably are very well aware of GATA, even though the mainstream media in the West doesn't give the time of day to Bill Murphy or Chris Powell of GATA. I think Bill Murphy was once on Bloomberg or CNBC, and they never had him again on those channels because they're controlled, of course, by the bankers and the central bankers, those corporate business outlets. So the Dow future this morning is up 30. The NASDAQ is up 75. S&P 500 is up 10 points. The currencies, we got sterling unchanged, 137.65. We got the euro down 0.1, just under 116. The dollar's up 0.25% versus the yen at 114.00. And the dollar's unchanged versus the yuan at 638. Aussie dollar is unchanged at 74.92. And yeah, the Canadian dollar is unchanged as well versus the dollar. The New Zealand dollar is down 1/8 at 71.54. Now to the general commodities. We've got crude oil unchanged, 83.40. I think yesterday we got up to 85, so we've corrected back a bit. As I said, the long-term trend is still up. High-grade copper is down 0.8% at 447. Interestingly, though, natural gas, that's gained about 20% in about a week. Yes, we're back up above $6. We're at 6.07. That's up 0.25%. Yes, recently we dropped back to around 5. I think the key level above now is around 6.5. We reached that level a few weeks ago. So I don't expect commodities to turn anytime soon, really. And by turn, I mean start a bear market. I think we're in the first innings of a commodity bull market, and really the meltdown of the fiat currency system, or the dollar system, if you want to call it that, or petrodollar, that is. So, yeah, I think it's fairly significant that Russia has resumed its purchasing of gold. And yeah, let's keep an eye on things. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.